What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And Jon Jones, well, he's in the news again, and he hasn't done anything good, let's just say that. So recently you've probably seen the news. Jon Jones he's not been arrested yet, but there is alleged claims being made that Jon Jones threatened violently a member of the drug testing agency that was there to drug test him, and just check up on his pictograms, just make sure he's not taking any juice. And allegedly, he did threaten the person, and we've got the full quote here, which I'll read to you in a second. But just on paper, you can't tell me this isn't sound extremely true. If it comes out to be false, then of course I will say that I was wrong. But you can't tell me that you hear a story about Jon Jones threatening to kill a drug tester and you don't be like, yeah, that sounds fucking spot on, doesn't it? I'm not surprised by that in any way. But let's just look at some of the details here first. So this is the alleged report of what supposedly happened. So it says here, sources who are not authorized to speak to the media said the drug tester noticed Jon Jones appeared extremely intoxicated, sounds about right, and threatened to kill the tester. Jesus Christ. Jones at one point even snagged the drug tester's cell phone. The incident happened at the end of March. However, the tester went to a location nearby Jones's home today to report the incident. A court record search did not produce any criminal summons or charges related to the incident as of today. So no charges have been pressed. That is the current state of what's going on. But just from that, again, I said this before, sounds about right, let's be honest. Jon Jones, he's taken some time off, still not at 100% physically, so he needs to, he's taken some of his supplements, and that's why I imagine he's probably not too fond. First it was hiding under the cage at Jackson Wink, and now we're threatening to kill drug testers. So that's brilliant stuff. But you can't tell me that doesn't seem right. And look, if the story is true and he did threaten to threaten violence on a drug tester, then why would he do that otherwise if he wasn't on roids? Why would he do that if he clearly knew he wasn't gonna pop? If you're not gonna pop, if you've taken nothing, sure, test me. Maybe you get a bit annoyed because you're at a party or something like that, and you'd be like, can you just wait? Can I test in an hour or something? But why would you threaten violence on a drug tester if you haven't been taking stuff in your system? But I wanted to look at, this is another thing here. So, the drug testing agent named Crystal Martinez claims in her police report that Jon Jones got in her face and said, "Why you fucking people come so early? Do you know what happens to people who come to my house? They end up dead." The testing agent visited his home at 4 p.m. on March 30th. So this weren't even no late night thing. This was literally a reasonable hour. It's not like he fucking came at 2 in the morning or some bullshit like Volk before the Holloway rematch. This is a reasonable time to come and test someone, and this is apparently the quote. And my other thing is, why the fuck would this not be true? Why would this Crystal Martinez drug testing person just blatantly make up a lie? It makes no fucking sense. We're going to look at Jon Jones' statement in a second, but I'm just thinking, the fuck? Why? What's the point? It's extremely believable because he has popped before. He has had controversies before involved in testing. So why is this this is not out of the blue. This makes sense. He's on the shelf. He's been acting funny recently, he's been at comedy clubs acting a little bit zesty. He's been doing some interesting things. So to me, this sounds reasonable or realistic that it could have happened. If it comes out and it didn't happen, okay, fair play, Jon Jones. This time you didn't do anything wrong. This time. But let's not act like this is some innocent man that's just randomly, all these outrageous allegations have come out that he's done something. This could ruin his reputation. The man's reputation is already in the bin. But let's take a look at Jon Jones's response. So let me just find it here. So this is from Jones. He posted this on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram, he turned off the comments. But he says, I want to address reports about me allegedly threatening a drug tester's life and taking a phone. I want to clarify there is a video of showing both drug testers leaving my home after the testing session where we exchanged a high five and a hug. We got Uncle Jones, like, at the cookout or something, just got, like, saying goodbye to some visitors or some shit, like, the fuck. He then says, although I was frustrated with the unprofessionalism, mate, you're the last one to talk about unprofessionalism, and used profanity out of frustration, it ended friendly and amicably, nothing threatening at all. Yeah, after they left, of course it ended. You were like, good job, guys, high five. I won't kill you with my shotgun. Go team. Like, what the fuck is he doing? Alright, continue. Nothing threatening at all. I was actually celebrating a friend's birthday party at my home, and I believe it's perfectly normal to celebrate in the comfort of my own home. Yep, you can have a party if you want, that's fine. I must say, this particular tester behaved quite unprofessionally and even breached standard protocol along with HIPAA laws. I'll just wait a second, I'm gonna just check what that is. HIPAA. What's this? Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So I assume this is to do with, obviously, how you can go about testing people. Throughout 20 years of being subjected to drug tests, I've never encountered such an incident with an officer before. Jon Jones, my friend, you're not my friend, but Jonathan Jones, you're talking about unprofessionalism, you're talking about breach standard protocol. I've never seen anything like this before. Mate, you're gonna act like you haven't popped multiple times for PEDs, and you're gonna act like you don't have a history of, like, a long-standing criminal record. So, let's not act like you're some model citizen and these people are just getting up in your face for no reason. So, of course, we don't know the full story, but just conveniently enough, you know, he's got security cameras outside the home to catch his high five and his hug on the way out, but he doesn't have anything to show inside the house. I guess why would you have security cameras in your lounge room or something? But I don't know. To me, this is just like, even if this is true and Jones did nothing wrong and the person was behaving unprofessionally and he got a bit annoyed at them, which would be fair if he did nothing wrong. But if you did threaten, because he's literally saying he's at a party or something, or he's celebrating a friend's birthday, so he's probably drinking a little bit, he's probably off his head, and he's probably got really aggravated because we've seen him before how he fucking behaves with police and shit. So to me, this does not sound out of the blue at all, but let me know what you guys think of his response to this situation. It seems a little bit odd. Personally, I think this was not written by him. He's probably got some PR team, because this is just not Jon Jones writing this. He would probably... There's not enough talk about cocaine in this for it to be Jon Jones. Or for him to talk about his legacy or some bullshit. It can't be Jon Jones if he didn't bring up his title defenses and why that means he shouldn't have to fight Aspinall. But let's just move on to something else. Now, you guys might not be able to read this, but I'm just going to go through this. I'm not going to keep stopping and starting. This is just the complete thing that I've got here. So, upon arrival, I contacted Crystal, who stated she worked for Drug-Free Sport International, who conducts tests for professional athletes. Crystal stated she and a co-worker identified as Jerome something arrived at Jones's residence on March 30th at approximately 4 o'clock, and an unknown male answered the door and directed them into the garage. Crystal stated there she contacted Jones to inform him they were there to conduct a drug test, showed him her credentials, and he was cooperative at first. Crystal told me that she laid her equipment on the table, including her phone. Crystal informed me that Jon Jones wanted to do the urine test in the garage, so went around to the corner while Jerome stood with Jones. Crystal stated that she waited a few minutes and then went back because she did not hear anything and they were gone. Crystal said that Jerome and Jones came through a door and that Jones appeared nervous and said Jones could not pee. Interesting. This is interesting. See, a lot of people only got the first part that I read out, but no, this is the full story. Crystal explained to me she offered to do a blood test instead and stated Jones appeared agitated, by him being tense and puffed up and looked bugged. Crystal stated Jones was asking them questions if they had money because he was going to sue them. This sounds very Jon Jonesy. Crystal stated Jones picked up her phone and started recording them, saying he was going to sue them, which she had a video of. It should be noted, at this time, Jones had no shirt on, and his size compared to Crystal, yeah. I looked at the video, and it appeared Jones stated something to the effects of, I assume that's fucking Jerome, and his girlfriend in my garage, and cut the video off. Crystal slated after that, Jones had made statements about suing them and put her phone in his pocket. Crystal told me she asked for the phone back and he refused and got in her face. This is the quote before, saying, "Why are you effing people come so early? Do you know what happens to people that come to my house? They end up dead." Crystal said she felt afraid, her heart was pounding, was terrified in that moment, and Jones was less than a foot away. Crystal explained she wanted to terminate the test then and there, but was afraid that Jones might hit her since the UFC fines athletes if the test is not taken. Yep, sounds about right. Crystal slated that she tried to signal Jerome discreetly for her to help or see if he thought they should leave. Crystal said she wanted to call for help, but Jones had her phone. Crystal told me she told Jerome to tell his girlfriend, who was sitting in the car parked in the driveway, to leave because Jones seemed upset that the car was in his driveway, and I thought it might calm him down. Crystal clarified that Jones could not call for help since he had given his phone to his girlfriend earlier. Crystal slated that Jones later agreed to take the urine test again and placed her phone back down on the counter, so she grabbed it while her and Jerome went to the patio. Crystal stated that when she texted her boss, only known as Pearson something, that Jones was threatening her and that she could not talk with him over the phone because Jones could come back any moment and thought Jones would attack her if he saw her on the phone. Crystal told me that Jerome and Jones had come back and that Jerome looked pale and nervous. Crystal stated that Jerome started to package and seal the urine so they could get out of there, but he kept making mistakes, which she believed was because he was nervous. Crystal later stated that she believed Jones might have been drunk because he smelled like an odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from him. Crystal said once they left, she did an internal report for her boss, but also informed him that she was going to file a police report, and he told her off until UFC representatives spoke with her, and that Jerome told her he did not want to file one because he was afraid of the repercussions. Crystal stated later, Pearson contacted her on Tuesday the 4th of April, asking why she wanted to file a report, and seemed like he was trying to talk her out of it. Crystal said she tried to file a report a few days ago, but was waiting for hours so she said she would call back. Fucking hell, that was a tongue twister to get through. But that is the complete, detail of it. So very interesting, a lot of interesting details there. So it was not the immediate, he immediately got annoyed at them and stuff. So it says here again, he was cordial at first, he was chilling at first, and then when he went back out to try and do the piss test, couldn't piss, apparently. Sounds very much like an excuse to not do the test straight away. But yeah, this does sound very Jon Jonesy. So this is definitely interesting stuff here. I'm just going to try and find anything else if there's anything for me to read over. This is another thing here from Aaron Bronstetter, though. He says here, just quote, "Another interesting note regarding the accusations against Jon Jones. In regards to his conduct as a UFC athlete is whether he's potentially violated Section 2.5.1 of the UFC's anti-doping policy. I'm awaiting contact information for Combat Sports Anti-Doping to inquire." So, here we go. This is 2.5. Tampering or attempted tampering with any part of doping control. So here, conduct which subverts the doping control process, but which would not otherwise be included in the definition of prohibited methods, so like drug testing. Without limitation, tampering shall include the following. So this is 2.5.1. Intentionally interfering or attempting to interfere with a doping control official, providing fraudulent information, much like Jon Jones's heavyweight belt, to a UFC or independent administrator, or intimidating or attempting to intimidate a potential witness. Interesting. Well. So, by the looks of that, if this story is indeed true, we could be looking at a Jon Jones suspension. But the annoying thing is, even if he is suspended, the motherfucker's already sitting on the sidelines like a bitch because he doesn't want to fight Aspinall. So his suspension would basically just be a move on. The only positive thing that would come out of that would be they'd probably end up promoting Aspinall to champion, which would be sick. But apart from that, in terms of like, we're not punishing him. He wants to be out for a while. He doesn't want to get back in there straight away, because if he did, he would fight Aspinall, or he would fight Stipe at International Fight Week, and he would fight Aspinall at MSG. If he wanted to be active, that's what he would do. But he clearly doesn't. So if they go, yeah, Jon Jones, you violated 2.5.1, we're suspending you for 12 months, starting now. Jones is like, sick. I'm coming back April next year. Let Aspinall fight some guys, see if he fucking loses, and then I don't even have to fight him, because if he loses, then the UFC is just going to find a way to do him versus Stipe for like a vacant belt or some shit, or they'll figure out something to do. So he probably does not even care if he gets suspended. It'll just be another bad look for him. But even if he doesn't get suspended, just this existing, unless it comes out as like proven to be not true, this is already a bad look for him. But very interesting. So it's very clear that if this exact account, which I read before, the full details, is correct, then we could be looking at a suspension for Jon Jones, because, again, it's something that it's conduct that subverts the doping control process, but it is not included in the definition of prohibited methods. So it's like a subsection of it. But that is very interesting indeed. So real quick, just before we finish off, let's take a look at Jon Jones's video, which he posted in the description of his, I guess, denial of this whole situation. So this is going in back with what he said about how they exchanged a hug and a high five. So you can see there, little bit of a high five, and then he puts his hand on the guy's shoulders, sauntering around with his fat belly, walking around in his driveway, and then he comes back in. So that was the thing there. I'll play it one more time. So you can see little high five to little Miss Crystal, who apparently was threatening to kill. And again, people are acting like, yep, 100%, this is proof, nothing happened, we're good, clear him up, he's free up my boy Jon Jones. Like, you know, that maybe it's like free up my boy, and it's like the boy in question, it's fucking Jon Jones. So, this MMA Guru just made a video on this, which is annoying, because I wanted to be like, I know other people made immediate reactions, but he's done like a 20-minute video, and I'm saying all this as I just saw it, on my computer. So I wanted to be like the first person to do like an in-depth kind of video on it, but who cares? I'm including even more stuff than him. He didn't have the big paragraph, the whole incident report details. But as you can see, with the like with him high-fiving the person, this is what he said already. Like, that does not mean nothing happens, for fuck's sake. That is basically almost like, that is almost to me more alarming. The fact that, like, why you gotta high-five the person? Like, I feel like that's him almost, like, ushering them out of there, going like, yep, good job, yep, see you, like, trying to be a bit friendly at the end, and not leave on a bad note of, like, I just fucking threatened you, finally, you took my drug test, fuck off. Like, this is almost him going like, I'll escort you out, this is nice stuff. Like, to me, that almost seems more like something did happen, and this is like the reaction of her being like, yeah, we're good. She's like a little nervous high five. Who the fuck high fives someone? Who the fuck high fives someone that's there to drug test you? That's retarded. Like, that seems so weird. That's like the weirdest thing to do if nothing happened. For him to, I don't know who offered the high five first, but regardless, if he offered it, why? That's odd. And if she offered it, that's almost like her going like, yep, we're good, good job, you finally fucking was able to piss in a cup, we can take it now and we'll go. Like, that just seems incredibly weird to me. But that's this individual situation. Now what I wanted to do is look at the history of Jonathan Jones. And as I said before, the kind of free up my boy, he did nothing wrong. Well, this is your boy. Let's go through this real quick. Alright, so let's look at these. So May 2012, Jon Jones was involved in an accident where he drove his car into a telephone pole in New York. At the time, Jones was arrested for driving under the influence and later pled guilty to the DUI. He was not sentenced to any jail time and instead had to pay a fine, and his license was suspended for 6 months. Next one. April 2015. Jones was fresh off his UFC 178 win over Daniel Cormier and seemed to be riding high when he again found himself in legal trouble. Jones was arrested in Albuquerque, New Mexico after leaving the scene of a hit and run. This is one of the OGs. The OG, Jon Jones, free out my boy moments. Jones was charged with a felony of leaving the scene of a crime and having a marijuana pipe in his vehicle. One of the victims here was a pregnant woman. Jones turned himself into the police and sentenced to 18 months of probation and community service. The fuck is this? Why is this man not in fucking jail? Next one. July 2019. These probably aren't all in order. Jones was charged with a battery following claims from a waitress that Jones hit her and assaulted her. Jones pled no contest to this charge and was placed on 90-day probation. What's with this motherfucker in probation, bro? Get the man in jail. August 2014. This is going back, sorry. In the lead up to UFC 178, Jones and Cormier involved in an altercation. This was where they shoved each other on the stage. Two need to be separated. Jones was fined. Okay, so that's not that bad. My bad. That's just in there. 2020, Jones was arrested after a police officer heard gunshots and went to investigate. When the officer arrived, they found Jones in his Jeep, intoxicated. He failed a field sobriety test as well. Brilliant stuff. One of my favorites. December 2022, the domestic violence charge against Jones was dropped. Instead, he was charged and pled guilty to felony tampering with a police vehicle and paid a $750, bro, that's tough. As a result of this felony charge, Jones was stripped of his UFC belt, with absent from competition for another year. I think these are all in the fucking wrong order, my bad. Jon Jones was charged with battery after an incident that allegedly occurred in April 2019. The incident occurred when Jones and a cocktail waitress, so this is back on the other one. He put her in a chokehold, kissed her on the neck, and then after he touched her, she asked him to stop. Okay, classic Jones. This is another one. This is the testing positive. This was a positive test for cocaine. He admitted for his mistake. It's all good, guys. He admitted to his mistake. Another one. While Jones was being questioned, he headbutted a police car, resisted questioning, and threatened the officers. Damn. Looks like there's a precedent for this man and threatening people. That's tough. And he was eventually arrested. They spelt it wrong, but John's longtime coach asked John to leave the gym after the incident. Another one. Police found a gun and a partially empty bottle of Ricardo Mezcal in the car and charged Jones with aggravated DUI. I assume that's mean DUI. This place has got the whole joint mixed up, but negligent use of a firearm, possession of an open container, and driving with no proof of insurance. He pled guilty and sentenced to 4 days of house arrest. These guys do be under-punishing this man so much. Another one, September 2021. Just after hours being inducted into the Hall of Fame, Jones was arrested after police responded to a domestic violence incident. According to police report, Jones' daughter requested police be called after her mother was locked out of their hotel room following an argument with Jones. Another one of my favorites. Another one. Throughout the last 3 years, Jones has also had his fair share of drug testing with the UFC. Oh, hang on, wait. I'm going to move on to this in a second. Sorry, this is... Oh my god! Hang on, okay. Oh no, this is the new one. My bad. So, yeah, I thought that was another time where he threatened someone. I've just got these all in a big clump. So Jones also had his fair share of trouble drug testing the UFC, failed several tests. This is just from the article I read. And again, this is the new one. April 5th, 2023... Jon Jones involved in an incident with someone looking to collect a sample. This is the same thing. He's got the threat to kill the tester, and extremely intoxicated, all this stuff, and currently investigating this alleged criminal act. So yeah, that is the criminal history of Jonathan Jones. So yeah, free up my boy, the boy in question. Let's just quickly take a look at some of these details here. So as you can see, this is one of my favorites, just watch along. Jonathan Jones in the restraint of police officers, and this is the infamous headbutting of the car, one of my personal favorites. If you can hear him just talking, I'll just shut the fuck up for a second.
Please don't hurt me. Sir, yes sir. You nerd. On my Hall of Fame night. Say your name publicly. Say it. Garrett what? John. Officer Nerd. Calm down, bro. Heard me on my Hall of Fame night just because I'm big and black. And what did I do? All these officers. What did I do? Officer Garrett Nerd. You heard me on my Hall of Fame night just to have it. I want you to be famous as fuck. And I heard that someone coming to do it. No, sorry, man. I came from my Hall of Fame ceremony, and I'm black, and I have my friends, and I did nothing to you. And I'm not, it was at a ceremony with a Hall of Fame person. I'm not gonna answer your questions no more. Wow. Thank you. Am I halt? A black man can't drink? Getting elected into the Hall of Fame, and now this is what I got. Do you?
Relax. Relax. You all right? You all right? Just relax. Do you have anything in your pockets, man?
What I do?
And here is the obviously infamous moment. I love this one. This is amazing. Sensational stuff. Just headbutting the car. Brilliant stuff. This is another one here. I'll let you listen in.
Did you just hear a gunshot?
I did it.
You did hear one?
Yeah, I did.
Where'd it come from?
Who knows?
What's all this green substance you got all over you?
Jason, I'm just going.
While you're getting all that stuff, hand me the open bottle that's right behind the passenger seat as well. The open bottle that's right behind the passenger seat. Reach behind the passenger seat, grab me that open bottle.
Oh, and here's just another quick video because I love this one. This another one of my favorites here. And let's be honest, there's a whole lot more I could go through, but we're already up to minute 26 of this video and I've got a whole lot more to cover, so I'm going to leave it at that in terms of the criminal aspect of Jonathan Jones. All I'm going to end that with is, let's not act like this is out of the blue. Let's not act like this is some crazy, mind-boggling accusation that is no way this could be true. I'm going to need concrete 100% proof evidence, because otherwise there's no way I could believe this. Like, for me personally, I know innocent until proven guilty is how the court of law works, and it's how the court of law should work. But when you've fucking done the thing like 10 times and you're accused of doing it again, sorry, bro, you're guilty until proven innocent. That's the approach I'm taking with Jon Jones at this point. If it comes out that Volk or something, or like, I don't know, Pereira or Tom Aspinall, if it comes out that one of these guys has like violently threatened or attacked someone, I'll be like, damn, that is terrible. I hope that's not true. If it is, that's a terrible thing to do. But let's get the full story. Let's get the details. And it sucks that I'm not giving the same benefit of the doubt to Jones. But sorry, when you've got the fucking track record that I've gone over, literally like every year and a half, this guy's just getting up to something else. Sometimes he's going more than once in that time frame. I just can't be like, yeah, 100% no way this could have happened. Like, sorry, the base approach I have to take is just, I assume you did this based on the fact that I don't know why the person would lie. It seems like a pretty fucking random thing to lie about. And also, like, some of these details are just so, like, why the fuck would they make this up? So maybe a bunch of the details are true, but maybe he did not say the threat of, like, you know what happens to people when they come to my house, they die. Maybe that part was not true. Maybe that part was exaggerated, but everything else sounds pretty fucking legit. And yeah, sorry, John. I hope you didn't do it for your fucking sake, because you're going to cop a bunch of more shit if it is true. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But let's also now look, because this is both a criminal matter and a drug testing matter in terms of a potential violation. So let's look at a history of Jon Jones's drug testing failures or controversies. So obviously he had the positive cocaine test. You can see the stuff on screen. They've got the fucking date wrong. I don't know why they've said 281. That's retarded. But yeah, after the Cormier fight, obviously tested positive for cones. Said he wasn't a frequent user, but then obviously went on to boast about beating Cormier, and he's just like, I beat you after a weekend of cocaine. So yeah, it's just not a great look. That's just one of them. That's one of the less serious ones, to be honest. But the UFC 200 one as well. He was supposed to fight Cormier at 200. We all know the story. And yeah, 3 days before the fight, he was forced out, or however many days. He failed his pre-fight drug test for 2 banned substances. That's where you saw the video with DC when he got told by Dana, and he's like, come on, man, and he's like stomped on the ground. And yeah, he failed those drug tests. And also, it says here, the first of which was clomiphene, the female fertility drug, and the second was letrozole, a drug used to treat certain types of cancer. See, this is weird, but I think the deal is with these is The banned substances can also be used to boost testosterone levels. There you go. And suppress estrogen production level in men. That's why I assume the female fertility drug is like to reduce fertility, I imagine. And to treat breast cancer, I assume that's like get rid of it or something. So I guess, I don't know how it works, but I'm just reading what I'm reading. And we know I don't know if all these details are completely accurate, but we know the premise of it. He popped before UFC 200. What else did he have here? Let's see. There's another one. There's multiple ones. Obviously, the Gustafsson fight, we remember this. Another one. Banned for steroids. He returned. This is when he knocked out Cormier. And then he tested positive for turinabol. This is another famous one. When he tested positive for turinabol after the fight, when it got then turned over to a no contest, he was stripped of the belt and he came back, obviously, for the Gustafsson fight, which then we know was moved to another venue or another commission. And this is that's what I'm talking about here. Pulsing the pictogram, or pictogram, whatever, controversy that became a kind of meme in the community. After his 15-month suspension, he returned in December of 2018 to rematch Gustafsson 5 years after their first fight. The event was scheduled to take place in Vegas, but was moved to Los Angeles on a week's notice after Jones was denied a license to compete in Nevada due to an atypical finding in his drug test, because he had pulsing effects for the same thing. Obviously, he maintained his innocence. He kept saying, they said it was like basically a grain of sand on a beach. That's the sort of level that we're dealing with. But the thing is, it's still in your system. Sorry, bro. Never seen Volk pop for having picograms in his system. Never had Aspinall or Pereira or Tapori or any of these guys. None of them have popped for having traces and pulsing effects of turinabol in their system. And also, it's a drug you took in the first place. So even if you were not actively taking it before your fight, it was still in your system. Guess how it gets there? It doesn't get there from eating your fucking breakfast avocado toast. You gotta fucking take it in the first place for it to be there, for it to be there a year and a half later. And by my guess, you'd have to take a fair fucking bit of it or still be taking it for there to still be traces a year and a half later. I don't know how long it takes to get out of your system. I'm not a medical guy. If you want to look at all that stuff, go to More Plates, More Dates. I'm pretty sure he did a big video on Jon Jones back in the day. But yeah, this thing, a disgraceful behaviour from Jonathan Jones. He claimed he was the victim of a contaminated batch of tadalafil, a drug used to treat erectile dysfunction in men. See, this is where the meme of Jon Jones having, like, no testosterone came out and stuff and having, like, needing to take dick pills, because that's what he claimed. So he's basically, it's not a whole lot better. I mean, it's at least, if this was the truth, at least he's not taking steroids, but instead he's just told everyone he's got erectile dysfunction. So that's rough. And then he was handed a suspension. But yeah, what else am I looking for? I'm just scrolling through all this stuff here. Drug tests that were completed by Jones after his atypical finding came back clean with no positive result for turinabol. So, yeah, he did not have any, like, the level of turinabol or the level of any steroid that was required to raise flags on a test and could be considered, like, popping for a substance, obviously like he did after the DC fight. But Director Andy Foster said it was clear to fight Gustafsson, the trace amounts, but there was no, so yeah, there was trace amounts, but there was just no evidence that he had re-administered the banned substance. So apparently there was no performance-enhancing benefits, and that's why, of course, he dominated Gustafsson in the rematch after having a war and a back-and-forth razor-close fight in the first fight. That's just good stuff. But yeah, what else? Much like the failed test the previous year, Jones maintained his innocence. I already read this. Fucking hell, I'm just scrolling through all of the stuff on the article. Yeah, he tested positive for turinabol, the same anabolic steroid that led to his 15-month ban. To receive a license from the California State Athletic Commission, Jones had to enroll in VADA testing program as well as USADA, making the first. So normally it was all USADA, but he had to do under another, probably more thorough organization, I guess, or one that California State Athletic Commission requires. But yeah, apart from that, I think this is everything. He was not handed a suspension by NSAC as cocaine was not banned. That's back on the cocaine thing. He made a public apology, because what a nice guy he is, you know, just always taking responsibility for your actions when you do them 20 times over, and revealed he entered rehab for his cocaine use. So yeah, anything else that I'm looking at here? I don't believe so. Substantial assistance is when athletes informs an anti-doping agency about what doping violation by another fighter. This is what reduced his ban from 4 years to 18 months. So he would have been out for a fucking hell of a lot longer, but it was reduced by 3 months when you started rules. He didn't take the steroid intentionally. So yeah, he just unintentionally took trace amounts of turinabol. Good stuff. Maybe his wife, you know, injected it. She wanted to get him into some more trouble again after he beat her up. So she just put some in his stuff. And yeah, that's rough. But this was a quote here. This is back from the other one,
John,
when he was just talking about all that bullshit. I'm just scrolling through. This probably won't even be on screen now. I'm going to fix up the order. But yeah, that is basically the gist of it. And that's Jon Jones. That's just his drug testing scandals. So I've already looked at the criminal scandals. So I've already kind of talked about the free up my boy, he did nothing wrong sort of narrative of people just going, yes, this video of Jon Jones high-fiving a drug tester proves with 100%, no doubt about it, that nothing happened and it was all good. And so, yeah, this is your guy. Don't be acting like it's just a complete out-of-the-blue claim that could never happen. I'm sorry. When it happens once, I can call it a coincidence. When it happens twice, it's getting suspicious. When it's happening fucking 3, 4, 5, 6 times, the coincidences turn into evidence, and yeah, that's what I'm looking at here with Jon Jones, in my opinion. But let's look at something else, because I wanted to talk about this too. And I wanted to talk about Dana White, and you know how there is so many clips and so much shit that's come out of him shit-talking Jones, of him getting annoyed at Jones, saying he's a liability, saying he's pissing them off, saying that he's like overvaluing himself, all of this stuff, right? There's so much of it. And then you get these clips now of him just going, yeah, he's the greatest of all time, no doubt about it. He's never lost, and he's never been beat. He's dominated everyone he's fought. It's like, no, he hasn't. Gustafsson was arguably a fight that could have gone to Gustafsson. Reyes was arguably a fight that shouldn't have gone to Jones, period. It wasn't even like, oh, it could have gone to Reyes, man, you know. That was a close 2-2 going into the 5th, and man, Jones snuck out that 5th round. Like, no, Reyes won the first 3 rounds light of day easily, and then somehow Jon Jones got a unanimous decision, even with a fucking 49-46 scorecard mixed in there, just to let everyone know that it was in fact a rigged scorecard. And so yeah, he's gone from all this talk. I'm going to play some videos in a second, but you can see on screen right now, like, this is like, the holdup according to White was that Jones wanted to fight Cormier next instead of Gustafsson, and the negotiations on contract extension had snagged on that detail. Jones wouldn't sign. And then this is a quote, "What's up with Jones? Did he straighten up or is he still being a scumbag?" White texted then Chairman Fertitta in a message recently unsealed. This was part of the antitrust lawsuit, which unfortunately has come to a close now, so we're not going to see any more shit like this. Reps for Jones in the UFC did not respond for the comment, and then this is Dana. Oh no, Fertitta saying, "Still a douche, we're inching closer. We haven't moved on money, but sent the letter with an ultimatum." Awesome, White responded. Fuck that punk Lorenzo. Saying to Lorenzo, he needs to know we don't need him or he will fuck us over more than he already does. Like, they fucking hated Jon Jones. Another one here. So you wanted Mr. Fertitta to let Mr. Jones know that the UFC didn't need him. They asked White. White said, yeah, he responded. And being a scumbag in negotiations, Delangelo added, no, White responded. Do you know Jon Jones' history? Just to be a scumbag in life. I mean, you could get pretty much every guy who works for me to testify that, yes, I was not happy with Jon Jones' life choices. So this is so clear. The UFC and Dana White privately don't like Jon Jones, I feel like. Or maybe they finally are good with him now across all aspects, but they did not like this guy. This guy was a pain to deal with. He sat out after the Reyes fight, which was a robbery. It wasn't a close fight. It was a robbery. It was clearly 3-2 to Reyes. There just wasn't an argument about that. Go rewatch the fight. That you can't actually score the first 3 rounds for Jon Jones if you have a brain. But So that was a robbery, and then he goes away, not for 5 months, not for a year, not for 2 years. He goes away from UFC 246 against Reyes and makes his return at UFC 285 against Gane. Only after Ngannou left, who was arguably, before we saw Aspinall, considered his nightmare matchup and the guy that could knock him dead and crumple his legacy to a heap. Like, only after Francis left and had his own negotiation contract problems with the UFC that he didn't sort out, because the UFC obviously clearly are more willing to pay Jones more than Ngannou, because obviously they eventually came to something with Jones, because otherwise all this talk went away from this guy's overpricing himself, he's being a dickhead, to this guy's earning bank, he's making heaps of money. But when Ngannou, I'm sure they would have offered him a lot too, and I think they did. They offered him the highest paying contract for a heavyweight. I assume that was before the Jon Jones deal, and he turns that down. So fair play, Ngannou, you didn't take that thing. Jon Jones did, but this shows that the UFC he caused them so many headaches. So why the fuck are you now like, yep, this guy's the GOAT, the Stipe fight is all that makes sense, you know, Stipe's a legend, this is the only fight that makes sense, they both want it, and apart from they both want it, and maybe Dana White's convincing himself that he wants it, apart from that, even Dana White slips up sometimes. Like, he'll be like, he was talking to the UK journalist or whatever, he's like, you know, we got 2 champions. It's like, he didn't say, well, we have a champion and we have an interim champion. We got 2 champions. We have a heavyweight champion. Pretty sure they're not taking Jon Jones to England. Pretty sure he's talking about Tom Aspinall. Aspinall is a champion. He's a champion. He's not the only champion, but realistically, Aspinall's the guy, and Dana White even kind of slips up sometimes and realizes that, and I think deep down he knows it, but he kind of has to, it's the same with this power slap bullshit, he has to put on a front sometimes to just be like, yeah, but you guys, you want this is good, we're doing this and you're gonna like it. Like, it's, no one wants Stipe versus Jon Jones, and the more this goes on, like, I get it, after Jones got injured, and before the Pavlovich-Aspinall fight took place, it was like this fucking graph. It was like this progression of people not wanting to see Stipe Jones. When it was booked initially, people were like, yeah, this is kind of retarded. It should be Pavlovich, because this was when Pavlovich was coming off the Blades KO. And then Aspinall beat Tybura. And then the plan was, we're going to do Pavlovich, or it should be Pavlovich versus Jones, but he's going to be the backup for Stipe Jones. Aspinall should end up fighting Gane. Obviously, Gane turns that down because he's got his own separate issues. So it was then Aspinall and Pavlovich get booked for the interim title, and Jones is injured. So we're like, okay, fair play. At this point, there's nothing he can do. He's injured. He'll be back when he can be. We'll get the Stipe fight out of the way, and then hopefully we can do Aspinall or Pavlovich, whoever wins. Then Aspinall fucking deads Pavlovich in like a minute. Says he wants to fight Jones. Everyone's like, sick, this is awesome, this is clearly his toughest fight. We realize very quickly when we see Stipe walking into the arena with a cane on that same night. We see Stipe walking into a cane and then looking off into the distance as he sees Pavlovich get slept, realizing, yeah, this guy would fucking sleep me and this old bum that I'm about to fight. He's like, okay, fuck, I better not fight this guy now. Stipe immediately just goes out, yep, only fighting Jones. Why would I fight Aspinall? Even though he's coming off a loss. But this is so clearly fucking showing. I'm going to get into this more. I fucked up the order, I'm sorry, because I've gone off on a rant. But I'm going to stop myself here. I'm going to continue with this. But here is some videos of Dana White listening.
I'm always looking at what Jon Jones could have been, you know? He could have been the LeBron of the sport. He could have been literally that big. You know, the stuff that he's been through to show up and think basically demand $15 million or $20 million or $30 million. It's crazy. So he can do whatever he wants to do. He can sit out. He can fight. He can whatever. You know how this works. You guys know how I am. Jon Jones can say whatever he wants publicly. It's his God-given right here in America. He can say whatever he wants. And when he's ready to come back and fight, he can.
I saw a lot of people saying, like, why can't he make Deontay Wilder money? I mean, you said he's the greatest of all time, right? So,
being the greatest of all time doesn't mean you get $30 million. Being able to sell Jon Jones has done a lot of things to himself. He's saying, in one of his tweets, he was saying that I tarnished you? You've done a very good job of tarnishing you. No, I haven't done that. You know, Hunter told him, I'll walk in, you can come in here and walk through the numbers. I'll walk you through all the numbers. And he says, I don't give a fuck what the numbers are. I want what I want, and that's it. It's not how life works. Why don't you guys fly back and tell your boss, I don't give a fuck what this company makes. This is what I want. You're going to give it to me. See how that fucking works out for you.
Yesterday was being inducted in the Hall of Fame, and then hours later going to jail. What's the situation right now in the UFC?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, we'll see how this plays out legally for him and where this ends up going. It's hard to bring this guy to Las Vegas for any reason. The city is not good for Jon Jones. And here we are again.
What was your reaction when you first got the news that there had been another incident?
It's like it's not even shocking anymore. It's when we bring him here, it's almost expected. You know, you can't even get him in Las Vegas for less than 12 hours to induct him into the Hall of Fame. It's a problem.
Involved here.
He's never been beat. He destroyed everybody at light heavyweight, which at the time was the toughest weight class in the company, in the sport. And then he moved up to heavyweight, won easily at heavyweight. And when you look at a guy and you look at what he was doing outside the octagon at the same time, which shouldn't be part of it, shouldn't be part of the equation. But when you do, wow.
Like, I'm sorry, what was the switch up? Like, what did we do here? What happened for him to just immediately switch up from, it's a problem, we can't bring this guy to Vegas, this guy's causing problems, I don't like how he spends his life outside the octagon, he doesn't deserve this money he's asking for, this guy's tarnished himself, he could have been the LeBron of the sport, and now it's gone from, yep, he's the GOAT of the sport, he destroyed everyone at light heavyweight, which is just factually incorrect, and it is moved up to heavyweight and won easily. Yep, he won easily in a vacant title fight because the guy that he beat already lost to the champion, which you guys wouldn't pay enough to stick around. Whatever, I'm not even going to complain about that. But where was the urge to move up and make that move in like the 3.5 years that he took off since the Reyes fight? He bulked up a solid... Not even, and you might be like, oh, he weighed in 250, and normally at light heavyweight he weighs in at 205, so you put on 45 pounds. No, he didn't, because guess what, motherfucker? You cut to light heavyweight. So yeah, he was probably like 230, 235. This guy took 3.5 years off to put on 15 pounds of not even muscle. Half of it was fat. So it's not like he was bulking, and even that we've seen guys bulk up in way less of a time and do a great job. It's like, okay, I get it, you want to put on some size for heavyweight, but it wasn't even good size, you just look fat. So where was the hustle, where was the urge when Ngannou fucking flatlined Stipe and fucking turned him into a lawn chair? Where was the urge for you to just, lift some weights real quick and get back in the gym and we'll get up there quickly and accept the UFC's $10 million offer and be like, yeah, I'm probably not even worth this much, but whatever, I'll take this. And then let me go beat the scariest guy in the company right now and win a belt in a second division and cement my legacy. But no, I'm going to stick around. I'm going to wait on the sidelines, demand more money than I'm worth. I'm going to wait till this guy that's a bad matchup for me loses or leaves, in which case he did. And then I'm going to take on Mr. Serial Gone, Mr. fucking Cerebral Surreal, who doesn't know how to defend a takedown to save his life unless it's against fucking Sergey Spivak. And yeah, I'm going to fight that guy and I'm going to beat him in 2 minutes. And then I'm going to say the only fight that makes sense is me versus a geriatric old man who hasn't won since literally before coronavirus. I'm pretty sure during when he beat DC in the trilogy. But that was the last time Stipe won. I'm pretty sure Trump was in office. Or if not, Biden had been newly elected. But regardless, there's all this stuff about when Stipe last won this, whatever. Like, I'll show a bit of it in a sec. But yeah, the only fight that makes sense after me winning a vacant belt, which is basically fraudulent, only fight that makes sense is, of course, me versus a geriatric coming off a loss who can't walk without a cane. And yeah, no Pavlovich after a Blades fight, who literally won by first round knockout a month after you won your title fight. Yep, I don't want to fight that guy. We're looking at Stipe International Fight Week. That's sick. That's what's going to happen. Obviously, that didn't happen. Probably Jon Jones was asking for more money again, or whatever. Push that back. Maybe it was Stipe, maybe not. Yep, okay, let's do it at MSG. Sick. We'll do this, even though it's undeserving. Let's get it out the way. And then, no. Sorry, bud. Fucking yeah, we gotta. Sorry, bro. We're you're injured. We're sticking you out for another year or probably more. These two guys that are on the longest, apart from Aspinall with the Blades fight, like two of the most impressive heavyweights right now. Both have like an average fight time of 2 minutes, and one of them wins by 1 minute KO. And yep, no, that's not the fight to make. It's got to be Stipe coming off a loss. So shit makes no sense. I'm going to show some of the tweets between the two, but I just genuinely, and this is Dana pushing it. This is not Jon Jones being like, I refuse to fight Aspinall, and Dana being like, bro, you got to fight Aspinall, and then him calling Jones. If this was Dana being like, bro, Jones, you're the champion, you got to fight the interim champion, that's how it works, we're going to try and make this fight, and then Jon Jones was ducking, that's a different conversation. Then we can call Jon Jones a duck, which he is, but at least then we don't blame the UFC. But in this case, we're blaming the UFC because Dana is for some reason clinging on to the idea that geriatric old man and a fat, less old but still old man is going to sell just a miraculous number of pay-per-views. Like, bro, you get paid the same regardless. Aspinall fight would arguably sell just as many pay-per-views because realistically there's not that many fans that are going to know Stipe and Jon Jones who are buying pay-per-views in 2024 that won't buy a pay-per-view for Jones and Aspinall. Like, I think he's grossly overestimating how much of a big draw fight that is in comparison to Aspinall, which that fight with Jones is growing more and more steam by the day as Jones continues to duck him and more fans are wanting to see it and realizing that Jones and Stipe is not the fight that needs to happen. So I feel like more people are more interested now in Aspinall and therefore they're going to be paying more. There's not that many casuals that are like, okay, maybe Stipe Jones gets like 50k more buys from the casuals compared to Aspinall Jones, but I think actually the same amount of hardcore fans. So maybe you missed it out on 50k pay-per-view buys. Big fucking deal. Whoop-de-whoop. You're going to put your fucking division in a shithole by doing this fight because guess what? Jones is going to win because Stipe's old, and then Jones is going to leave, or he's going to say, I'm taking time off. Honestly, leaving would be the better scenario. If he says, I'm taking time off, and this is like, holds the belt, and then gets this weird scenario going where the UFC doesn't want to strip him in case he wants to come back quicker, that's going to be worse. But if he just says, I'm done, 100% I'm leaving, I'm out, at least then just promote Aspinall. But if he's like, oh yeah, I am, and then we can just immediately get another, and then you just turn around Aspinall for like one fucking week after Jones fights and just, immediately move on. But if he's like, oh, I might be done, I might not, I'm going to take some time, I'm going to see where I'm at. And then like what, Aspinall gets another 2 defenses of an interim title, like then we're just fucking around. So I really don't know why Dana is just pushing so hard for this fight. I get why Jones is, because for him it makes no sense to fight a guy who's actually a dangerous fight. Why would you not just fight the old man who you can easily beat for the same amount of money? So for him, I get it, but I really don't know why Dana White and the UFC, after how much shit they've talked about Jon Jones and how much he's been a hassle and all this, like, they're complaining about him trying to negotiate between Cormier and Gustafsson, all this. You're going to tell me that they're, like, thrilled about this? I don't get it. But let's now look at these tweets between Aspinall and Jones as well. This was a couple weeks ago, and this was just brilliant. Jon Jones was off his rocks. He just could not stand the fact that people were criticizing him, and he just went on a lengthy rant on Twitter. So let's read this. It's a wild world we live in. People can be so quick to try and replace you, throw you away, discredit your work. The best thing about them stats, just be able to see the fruits of your labor, be an absolute savage at what you do. at whatever capacity that may be. Let the work speak for itself. Be undeniable in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Be absolutely undeniable. And Jon Jones, you're absolutely undeniably a PED cheat and ducking Tom Aspinall. It's fucking bitch of a thing. What else did he say? Someone said to him, he's done all you can, or all he can. You can't blame him for being frustrated. And Jones says, it doesn't really work like that. I was champion at 23. You can't show up at 30 pretending you've been chasing me your whole life. I have no clue who 90% of your resume is. Meanwhile, I've been headlining events your entire career. And this was just retarded from Jones, because, like, yes, bro, we know this is not an argument of who is the greater fighter of all time or who has the better resume. Obviously, you have a better resume than Tom Aspinall, who doesn't have that many fights in the UFC. This is not about resume. This is not about your fucking work that you did in the fucking 2010s at light heavyweight. This is not about the work that you did against fucking oversized middleweights in 2014. This is about right now in the heavyweight division. And right now in the heavyweight division, Tom Aspinall's resume is better than yours. Because guess what? Anderson Silva, fucking Chael Sonnen and fucking Rashad Evans and DC once, because the second one didn't count, and Gustafsson, and these guys, none of them are heavyweights. You have one name on your heavyweight resume. It's Cyril Gane, which was an impressive win. Great job. Very good win. No one's disputing that. But you can't be like, I have no clue who 90% of your resume is. Pavlovich, Volkov, like Spivak's not that great. But in terms of heavyweight body of work, he's beaten top 15 fighters. And he's beaten like more of them than you have. So he deserves it. And Aspinall beat Pavlovich, who's arguably a better opponent than Gane. So this was retarded from Jones. But what else did he say that was retarded? There's a similar thing. Only 4 recognisable opponents, already the King of England. Must be nice. There'll be legendary tales told about you and your infamous call-outs. Why is this guy acting like he's not calling out a 43-year-old or 41-year-old, however the fuck old Stipe is? He's calling you out because he's the interim champion and you're the champion. And he got his interim belt because you were injured. And guess what? You got your vacant belt because Ngannou left. You bum. So stop acting like his belt is just so inferior to yours. It's basically the same thing. He got his opportunity because the champion was unable to fight. It's the same thing that happened with you and Ngannou. In your case, you could have gone up earlier. Tom Aspinall would have loved to get to the belt as soon as possible, I'm sure. Or, take his time, whatever. But you could have gone up. You were not injured. There was nothing stopping you from going up and trying to fight Ngannou. But no, you were being a bitch. So don't be like Tom Aspinall is just shouting at the wind, making unrealistic call-outs. This is not fucking Caio Borralho calling out Dricus du Plessis. Like, this is a realistic call-out. He's a sensible call-out. He's the interim champion. Fight him, you bum. Let's move on to another thing. This is from Aspinall. Last time Stipe fought and won, GTA San Andreas had just come out on PS2. He will fight next for the heavyweight undisputed title ahead of me, who's the interim champion, active, ranked to number 1 in the world. This makes me quite upset. And fair enough, Tom Aspinall. It's completely retarded. And that's what I was saying before. The last time Stipe won was, let's just say, quite a while ago. The last time Stipe won, my age was on the clock. Like, I was in the age range of EDP danger zone, I think. Or maybe it wasn't that long ago, actually. I take that back. But, like, I was just out of the woods from being a victim of EDP. And I was still in the Pat Barry danger zone. Like, that's how long ago that was. But let's move on to another thing. Another one from Aspinall. Stipe's one of my favourites. Loads of respect to him. His resume is far superior to mine right now. Exactly. That being said, he's the best... That being said, the UFC has never been about this. It's about who's the best right now. Exactly right. He believes he can prove it, and Jon Jones is not trying to prove that. Another tweet. More cope delusion from Jon Jones, basically saying Aspinall has no wins over legends, no title defenses. Yeah, because he hasn't gotten a title shot, because you won't fight him, you dickhead. What do you mean? Anyway, he said there's only one Jon Jones, never forget that. Yep, there's only one Jon Jones. There's only one person that's popped numerous times for PDs. Only one person that's been arrested several times for domestic abuse, hit and runs, DUIs, all of the above. And only one person that, under this new drug testing agency, has allegedly threatened violence against the tester. So yeah, only one Jon Jones, we know. Some more tweets, I'll chuck them up on the screen. Just more cope delusion, saying Jon Jones saying he refuses to stick around for too long. He came, he saw, he conquered. He conquered USADA apparently, and he also conquered that fucking pregnant woman when he ran her over. A little bit more cope and delusion from Jon Jones. I'm not going to read all these fucking paragraphs. This man's writing essays to try and defend himself. But I'll leave you with this from Tommy Aspinall. And that's what this is about, really. Like, it's just about the Tom Aspinall. It's about the drug tests. Get in the cage. Stop threatening officials, allegedly. Stop committing crimes. Stop popping for PDs. Stop ducking. Fight the number one contender. Be clean. Get in the cage. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.